How's everyone doing? A lot of you guys know, a lot of you guys that have been here for a while know about me and how I like to defend kind of the players who are getting criticism. Because I like to find other ways in which reasons and understanding why a player is doing what they're doing, why they're not doing well. Because that's part of my job. That's what I do. Try and improve players and try and understand players and why they're doing what they're doing. And the biggest one right now, the biggest person that's getting all the criticism is Geo Rutter. Now, this player for me is, and the reason that I like to defend these players is one, because we don't know what's going on in their lives. Two, we don't know the situation they're in. And three, because I believe in them. And he's one that I do. I remember when he signed, and that's my girlfriend this. I was honestly, I could not sleep. I was that excited. The second we got linked with him, I was that excited. And I remember watching the Bundesliga during lockdown, because we had a guy in our flat who liked watching the Bundesliga, and it was good football. And Geo Rutter came on 2 or 3 times for Hoffenheim. And this guy came on with this blonde tipped, fluffy hair, just running at everyone. Got the ball, running at everyone. Running around the pitch, getting the ball wherever he wanted, wherever he popped up, running at people. I was an absolute havoc. 3 or 4 guys around him couldn't get the ball off him. Scoring good goals. I must have watched him not a lot of times, but enough to be really excited about this young player. And I was thinking to myself, he's good. Who's he? I looked, searched him up, 19-year-old at that time. I thought, this guy's good. And I always kept up on his career. I always watched him. But what stood out for me in that game is against Greater Firth, I believe. Scored 2 and got an assist. What stood out for me in that game that I'm not seeing at Leeds right now is his personality on the pitch. There's one thing that stood out for me. Look, he was raw. He still is. He was wild. He ran strange. I run strange. It's what it is. It works. I'm quick. So if I'm anything, I'm fast. What I saw in that, I saw a guy come on. He just looked free. He looked free and he looked happy and he looked like he understood the assignment. The assignment was to come on the pitch and cause havoc. I was speaking to my dad the other day, and he was talking to me about it, and he shouted to my dad if he's watching. And he used the word confused. He looks confused right now. He looks like he doesn't get it. I'm seeing the lazy trope bannered around Twitter and all that. And I strongly disagree with that. Strongly. That word is overused in football. Massively. But Geo Rutter is not lazy because he runs weird. He's not a lazy footballer. Daniel Farke would not choose him, even with no options, if he was a lazy footballer. People that are lazy footballers are not part of the team right now. Geo Rutter is not lazy. At all. He's full of energy. The issue with Geo Rutter is the understanding and the personality. What's happening in that sense? Like I said, I saw this player, both-footed, dribbling, understood exactly what he had to do, understood it. When he was on the ball, his dribbling skills were excellent. And let's just get onto those a second. Let me just show you what I mean by that. These are the FB ref stats. Geo Rutter. Last year. So this is going on his time at Hoffenheim. Look at this stuff. This is the number of minutes as well. And he's not played a lot. This is impact. Look at it. Well, you know his clear weaknesses. That's obvious. We know that. But look at the assists. Look at the percentiles we're looking at here. Shot created actions, progressive passes, progressive carries, successful take-ons. They're one of the best in Europe. Look at the guys he's compared with in terms of stats. Some top names here, some really good players. Inaki Williams, Kuna Balde. Like, this is the guy that I was watching in the Bundesliga going, oh, this guy. And then the second we were linked with him, I'm going, wow, this is phenomenal. Then when he came to Leeds, just look at them. You look at this winger and you think, perfect for Daniel Farke. And then you realise he's not a winger. You realise he's a forward stats. And that's the issue. Look at them. Look at his successful take-ons. Look at his progressive carries, his progressive passes. This is what we need. This is exactly what we needed. So what's going on with him? I remember when he came to Leeds, and let's talk about his first year. Came in January. Big fee. And the reason I don't like to talk about that fee is because that was a product of what happened at the time. We were desperate for something. and we overpaid for this for a player. And of course we did. Like, I don't think anyone denies that. Of course we overpaid. But the point is, that was the act of Victor Orta, right? He was director of football. That's his burden. Now he's gone. That's just Jorginho's burden. And he mentioned in a talk after one of the friendlies, which he actually spoke in English, which is fantastic, to Adam Pope, how that played on his mind and still does. Because you're always, as a footballer, fighting to fulfill this price tag, what everyone's telling you every week that you're not worth. That will always play on your mind, and that will make you overthink. And when you're not performing, if things aren't going right and you don't know why, your confidence will drop like a stone. And I'll go back to what I remember watching him, the freedom he had on the pitch, the enjoyment he had on the pitch. He had no price tag on him then. He had none of that rubbish. He was a guy coming on and just playing well and chipping in with a few goals. 8 goals in 15 starts in his first season at Hoffenheim. And where's that player? Where's the stats we've just seen? Where's that guy? Because when he's on the pitch, he looks, like my dad said, he looks lost and confused. He looks like he doesn't understand what he's meant to do. And one thing that's big, when he came into Leeds, in January, he didn't know the language. He didn't speak any English. Now he's learning that. So obviously, the communication is huge. And coming into an environment last year which was extremely toxic in every way, shape and form, these fans expecting you to hit the ground running, and then the manager that brought you in getting sacked not long after and bringing in a coach with his completely different style to what you thought you were going to be in. And then him getting sacked, and then another style which is not to your taste at all, getting brought on when you're losing games and just putting you on there and expecting you to do something in that horrible environment, in a tactical system you do not understand, you do not know. At that time, a 20-year-old as well. £35 million price tag on your head. Everyone telling you you're not good enough for that price tag. That must absolutely batter a young man. Who's he come with? You know, has he come with his family? Was he alone in that time? Is he still alone? We don't know these things. And these are things that play on a footballer's mind, especially a young man. Playing with freedom with nothing on it, and then suddenly coming to the Premier League in an extremely toxic environment where nothing's good behind the scenes at the club and being told you're 35 million, you're the man we need. Suddenly you're not playing football and your self-belief's going, well, what am I doing wrong here? And then you get brought on in a strange thing you don't understand because you don't speak English. And there's actually reports that he didn't want to leave and he was crying when he left because that's where he was comfortable. But the club wanted to sell him. Hoffenheim wanted the money. Or they wouldn't have sold the guy. All that from last year, I'm alright with. Let's settle that. Get rid of the price tag. Let him start afresh. Let him start anew. Give him a fresh lease of life. Victor Orta's gone now. The guy who paid the money for him's gone. He should have a fresh start. And he's not got that. Because everything is about the price tag. And that's the truth of it. That's how much it cost. I just want him to forget about it and just enjoy his football again. But right now, it's hard to enjoy his football. One, when he's been played as a striker in a system that doesn't suit him as a striker. It really, really doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm seeing this player, and you watch any game when I used to watch him, everything good he came was deeper. It's just dropping deeper, in between the lines. And when I look at a player right now, I'm looking at body language as well. And people laughed about the sleeve thing. He did that in the Bundesliga a bit, but the best Jorginho in the Bundesliga was the Jorginho with short sleeves. That guy would ruin you. Short sleeves and low socks, Jorginho was different. Trust me. So whenever he played well, he had that. I need... Body language is huge in sport. And there's even little things like... And you're going to laugh at this, but I promise you this is true. The hair. Where's his hair? Where's the fun side of him gone? Because that's what we bought. That's the player we bought. We bought this exciting young player who's full of tricks and one of the best dribblers in Europe, by the way. Doesn't look like he can dribble now. On the ball, he looks confused at every touch. Doesn't seem right. He doesn't feel like it's fitting for him. Every touch. And these are attributes that he's very, very good at. And these are statistically and proven that he's good at these. You can see them. You can look at the stats. He's very, very good at dribbling. That's what he's good at. Being direct and dribbling. He doesn't look good at that right now. So this is where people talk about he's not good enough. It's not even that. It's the attributes that he is good at that he's not performing in. This comes down to so many things. And a big part of that is the expectation of what he's meant to be right now when he's not that player. He's not a number 9 that's going to get Leeds 20 goals, and that's what we need. And that's the position he's playing in. Jorginho needs competition. And I talk about the hair. I want that guy back. Bring back the long hair. Bring it back. That's where you were good. I'm superstitious. If that's what you played good in, keep that. Get the short sleeves out. I'm telling you. Different gravy. Yeah, he needs competition. Geo Rutter. He really does need competition because he's been brought into a team. He's not performing well as a striker, as a sole striker in a Daniel Farke system. For me, he does not fit at all the kind of profile we need. But that's all we have. He's most familiar with that position. One thing I like about Jorginho, he's not given up. I'll be honest with you, the whole situation of everything that he spoke about in pre-season, about the price tag being on his head, on his mind, not speaking the language, not being ready for the Premier League and his own thoughts, to stay here now and put the bit between your teeth and train every day and fight and want to play football when so many people have wanted to leave, I highly respect that. Because out of anyone that's been here, he's had the most difficult start. Anto had a great start. He came in and hit the ground running almost after a few weeks, in the 21s, and then played brilliantly. All the other players that got brought in. Jorginho's had a tough start. He's learning the language. He did an interview in English at the start of the season, which I really like. He wants this to work. He wants to become a better player. Jorginho, for me, just has to forget about the past and last year. And forget so much about what's happening. Just be the player you were, because that's the best player of you, and that's the player we need right now. We are dying for a bit of creativity and flair and something to enjoy. And he can give that. He can give that. He's given that before. This isn't the Bundesliga as well. We're in the Championship right now. Bundesliga level is higher than the Championship, and he's done it in the Bundesliga. And the second season in the Bundesliga, where he wasn't quite performing at the level, that's because he got played in a position where it was a front two, where he wasn't that guy, and he got kind of too much responsibility on his shoulders and playing a different system, and that's what I mean. That's my problem. I don't think he's ready to start for Leeds right now, and I don't think that's a problem at all. But Leeds need to help him by bringing bodies in that are ahead of him, so he can have this no pressure situation, because every second he's been at this club, he's been reminded that you need to play well. You're 35 million. And then every time you're reminded of that, and then he comes on and he's not right for him, he doesn't feel good, that's just going to ruin him as a player. And that's why even the dribbling isn't looking good. Even the little things that he's really good at ain't looking good. Because he's just totally finished in confidence on the pitch, understanding what the system. He's got to keep working on that. These things take time, but Leeds need to help him out. They need to bring players in that can comfort him in terms of positionally, play over him, players that are going to start over him to make him realise that this is in his hands now, not being forced upon him. He doesn't have to play every game. He doesn't have to score 3 goals a game because he's worth 35 million. He can come on and enjoy himself and get used to the culture and get used to the understanding of what Daniel Farke wants, because right now he's wasted. The reason I do these videos is because I genuinely believe in a player from what I watched. And a lot of players I haven't, but I genuinely watched Geo Rutter before he came to Leeds. The Bundesliga's, it's on YouTube here as well. And like I said, during lockdown, I watched a lot of it. And whenever he came on in the games I watched, I was so impressed. So excited when this guy came. And people saying, like, he's terrible, get rid of him. Respectfully, I imagine you didn't watch him in the Bundesliga, because there's a player there. There is 100%. I think it would be ridiculous to get rid of him. I think it would be insane. But what we need to do is bring players in who can play over him and let him just come into games when we're winning. Just be in a winning environment. He wasn't in one at Hoffenheim second season. They were terrible. Came to Leeds in a horrible environment. Now, not a winning environment. One thing I like about Jorginho is he looks happier, I think. Not confidence in his play yet, but he looks a happier person. Still this nervous person who just needs to express himself and be himself. Genuinely, just relax, Jorginho. If Geo Rutter plays a football game and he goes on a dribble, takes 3 guys on and has a decent shot, that's all the fans want to see. Best believe he does that in a game, the fans will be on that and they'll love it. They will. That's all we want to see from Jorginho. Personally, I don't want to see Jorginho score 5 goals in the next 5 games. I want to see Jorginho playing with confidence, running at men 1v1, taking them on, embarrassing them. Because that's what he can do. That's what he's known for. That's what he did in the Bundesliga. I need to see that guy. And he's in there. We just need to be patient with him. But we can't be patient with him because we don't have the depth, right? And that's on the club. The club have to protect our players. They have to bring in the depth. We need the depth. We need a striker that's going to score goals. We need a winger. We need wingers. We need a number 10. So Jorginho can then fight for that position and understand his position in the club. And there's less pressure on him. And he can just come in and enjoy his football like he did in Hoffenheim. Look, that's all I've got to say. Let me know what you guys think. Look, people don't rate him. That's fine. My rating is based on what I watched before. Players don't just disappear. They don't just lose all ability at 21 years old. That's a process of many things. I think we back Farke, bring the players in we need, and Jorginho sits on the bench for a bit and keeps progressing, keeps understanding the system, learning the system, because he needs to do that. He's lost in it. Whatever position he gets brought in on, he'll do better once he knows that. Keeps learning the language, keeps getting integrated with the squad. Once he learns English, and he is doing that, he did an interview in English, fair play to him. That is outstanding. I love that from him. He wants to learn. Never respect, never, and people calling him lazy is ridiculous. I hate that trope. Terrible trope in football. Just in Dele Alli's interview talking about being called lazy and how much that affected him. Not good. I don't use that word in football, really. I really don't. Unless they genuinely are being. But Jorginho is not. Jorginho ran his socks off for 90 minutes. His first 90 minutes for Leeds. First time he's played 90 minutes. In the league. Might have done in the cup last year. Come on. Put some context on this. But yeah, the club need to back it so he can just be out the fold for a little bit. Just enjoy his time. Come on for 20 minutes on the wing. Not up front. On the wing. Get him on the wing. Get him deeper. Just in a transition position where you can just get the ball and on half turn and run at players. That's what we need. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think. This is a bit of a different one, but I just like sticking up for players that are getting battered. And rightfully so in the sense, but in some sense, there's people calling him lazy or people saying he should leave right now or he's never been good. He's just totally wrong. There's context to everything. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Please leave a like. I'd appreciate it massively. Yeah.